Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here as always. We have another great show planned for you, and we're living in very interesting times right now. Let me just check my handy-dandy notebook. Today is October 14th, 2025, and I can tell you for the first time in a very, very, very long time, it's wide open, baby. It's wide open. If you root for an AFC team right now that is 500 or better, you can start dream the impossible dream. And that means Super Bowl. Because everybody's alive for it right now. There is no dominant team in the AFC. There might be a couple in the NFC. We'll get to that another day. But after last night's Buffalo Bills loss, all right, a 10-point loss last night to the Atlanta Falcons, 24-14, it's now anybody's conference to win. I thought for sure the Bills were going to have an easy game of it against Atlanta. I totally misread what the Atlanta Falcons bring to the table. Michael Penix playing good quarterback. Obviously, Bijan Robinson, arguably the best offensive player in all football, not just the AFC. But the result of last night's game is that I think we can start looking at the Buffalo Bills now a little bit differently. The Buffalo Bills cannot run the ball thus far this year. They can't stop the run. You saw that again last night. Bijan Robinson had 19 rushes for 170 yards, added another 68 catching the ball for over 200 yards out of one dude, and he's the focus of the offense. You might want to guard him or try to have a defender on him or a couple defenders on him, but Buffalo chose not to. So defensively, they're not great. Josh Allen's in some kind of weird funk the last few weeks. And I can make the argument right now that the New England Patriots are better than the Buffalo Bills. And it pains me to say that because I spent 20 years of my life as a Jet fan chasing the New England Patriots, albeit with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Now you're telling me I got to chase the New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel and Drake May? Yeah, that's a fact right now. New England has absolute Super Bowl aspirations right now. The Bills do too. But after last night, I decided to do, I don't know, something we call in the sports talk radio business, research. Most people don't. I'm the anomaly. I'm the rare guy that actually reads. I'm the rare guy that actually does his homework. Other than when we're talking about Seattle Mariners pitchers, we'll get to that a little bit later on because I'm in a big fight with the three Mariners fans that exist in the country. I'll get to that later, a little bit later on. I got to win, they got to win, but we're having a nice little battle online right now. But consider this, if you will, just for a moment. The Buffalo Bills wins this year. They are 4-2. And while in a tie with the Patriots have the tiebreaker because they beat them the only time they faced off head-to-head two weeks ago. I guess a week ago, right?
Yep.
So the Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens. Remember that great fourth quarter comeback? 4.5 minutes left, down 15, and somehow, some way, the Bills come back and they beat the Ravens. Well, what did we learn about the Ravens? They have arguably the worst defense in the AFC. It's still a game the Ravens should have won because they dropped 40 on the Bills. But another example that the Bills' defense, not great.
Yep.
All right, so the Bills take a week one win against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens right now are, let me check, 1-5. That doesn't count as a good win, right? Week two, or the second game I like to have in my schedule, they play the New York Jets. They beat the New York Jets. The New York Jets right now, the only winless team in all of football at 0-6. Does that count as a good win? No, it doesn't, because the Jets stink, right? Yeah. Let's go to their third win this year. They beat the Miami Dolphins. You remember the Miami Dolphins, the team that players show up late to players-only meetings and hate the quarterback and hate the head coach, and they are, let me check, a one-win team. So while it's a division win, does that count as a high-level win for the Buffalo Bills? No, it does not. And let's go to their last win. They beat the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints have a single win this season, and it happened to be against the New York Giants, a team that's only got 2 wins thus far on the season. So the Bills this year have beaten the Ravens 1-5, the Jets 0-6, the Dolphins 1-5, and the Saints 1-5. They are beating up on the worst teams in the league, and they have not beaten a team with a 500 or better record thus far this year. If I lived in Buffalo, and I did for 7 months, 1991, was it August 24th of 91 into May of 92. 7 months of my life, I lived in Buffalo. All right? 7 months. I was with a lot of heavy women to keep me warm in October, November, December, January, and February. And the reason I couldn't hook up with an attractive, thin woman is because simply known in Buffalo, Jim Kelly had them all.
Oh, man.
All right?
There was none left.
In
Not
the early
one left?
90s, if you wanted to hook up with an attractive woman, your name had to be Jim Kelly. Yeah.
There wasn't one left
Not
over?
one.
Not one?
If Jim Kelly had a party, all the pretty girls were there. So guys like me, you had to go to the one-legged gal with a limp, right? But she kept you warm in your studio apartment in a retirement home with cockroaches and ramen noodles, because that's all I had.
My goodness.
And Santa Barbara every afternoon at 3 o'clock. That's all I had in Buffalo. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
The Bills, I'm trying to find a better word than fraudulent because it's an overused word. But the Bills right now are the most fraudulent 4-2 team, or even just a team with a winning record that exists in the NFL. Again, their 4 wins are against teams with a combined 3-21 record. So who have they beaten? And last night they played a team playing at home. I can't remember the last time the Falcons had a nationally televised home game. And they're a good football team all of a sudden. Raheem Morris is doing a good job. Bijan Robinson is a rock star defensively. They did everything they wanted to do in getting pressure on Josh Allen. And I'm not looking back. And I'm going to go to my handy-dandy notebook right here and look at the standings in the AFC. And there's no dominant team. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are still very much alive, and if the refs want to keep helping them, they're going to win a lot of football games. Yeah. More on that later on as well. The Ravens are done.
Now. The Texans are alive at 2-3.
Texans are back alive. Like almost every team in the conference, sans the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, seemingly are pretty much alive. And that, to me, is awesome. Because it means every week, every game matters more. It's not like we're all sitting back going, all right, we're just waiting for the coronation of the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Bills.
Right.
You know, the best 3 teams on paper coming into this year. The Chiefs are 500. The Bills are frauds, right?
Yeah.
And the Ravens have 1 win. So I think we are finally going to see an AFC championship game with 2 other teams that typically don't make a run all the way there. And I think that's great because I'm sick and tired of the same teams getting there every single year. And those 3 teams always being in the last 4 or 5 teams alive in the AFC. But what I saw last night, if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, I am seriously concerned because Josh Allen looked like a shell of himself outside of the first drive of the game and the first drive of the second half, where they obviously moved the ball down the field and scored touchdowns. I'm concerned about that Bills defense because of what Bijan Robinson did and what Michael Penix, who's an average quarterback, did against them yesterday. And at some point, you're going to be win or lose based on having talent. And the Buffalo Bills have gotten away without going out there and getting prime talent because Josh Allen always bails them out. He's that good. I don't think he was deserving of the MVP last year. I thought Lamar Jackson deserved it, but Josh Allen is that good. And all of a sudden, when you wake up, if you're a Bills fan, who's the one guy you trust other than Josh Allen? Who is he throwing the football to? Now, I know, there's guys on that team that we like, but there's no game breaker on that offense. So if you can stop the Bills from running the football, Josh Allen's got nobody to throw the rock to. And let's be honest, ever since he got married.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
It's one thing when you're showing off to the girl that you want to marry. Once you get married, sometimes that game implodes. So congratulations to every other AFC team that's got a 500 record or better. You are now very much alive for a legitimate run to the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs are struggling, and the Bills are struggling, and the Ravens are done. It is a brave new world. Anybody can rock the AFC in the Super Bowl this year, and I'm here for all of it. Coming up next, when should you let a baseball hit you in the leg? After this.